are some who believe that we should require, as a regulatory matter, that every home have a fiber line all the way to the home, fiber to the home. And I think the desire for this comes from some misunderstandings about the ways in which the internet's delivered to the home and the differences between them from a technical standpoint, and also the way the internet works as a whole and what tends to cause speed differences within the network. I mean, I find it very interesting. Netflix does a report that shows the average speed of delivery for Netflix streams on ISPs worldwide. The fastest currently in the United States is Google Fiber in Kansas City, which is capable of delivering up to 1 gigabit per second in speed. That's 1 gigabit per second. According to Netflix, in March 2013, the average speed at which a Netflix stream was delivered over Google Fiber's network was 3.45 megabits per second. A very small fraction of the capability of the fiber that goes to the home. So what creates the difference between the capability of the fiber line to the home and the actual average speed of the Netflix streams? There are other parts of the network on the internet that cause slowdowns. Just like with roadways, that almost no matter how many lanes you can have a serious slowdown at an intersection as traffic starts to merge. So there's a tension between this idea that the last mile of the internet is the problem for internet speeds, when the internet is an entire ecosystem with a lot of interrelated parts. There are some who believe that TCP/IP, the internet protocol, actually needs to be changed. They believe in a recursive network idea. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know whether there needs to be any actual changes to the protocol, and I don't want to suggest that. But I do want to suggest that the statistics that Netflix releases, if accurate, indicate that there's a lot more going on here than whether or not you have a fiber connection to the home. The question is, over what distance can another waveguide, another possible type of wire, potentially substitute for fiber? And the fact is, over short distances, copper, whether it be a twisted copper pair for a telephone company or a coaxial cable, which can also be made of copper and typically is made of copper, or other conductive metals, can substitute perfectly fine for fiber. When there's already coaxial cable in the ground, there's already twisted copper pair in the ground, and for the relevant distances, it can provide very high speeds, including up to 1 gigabit per second. Does it make economic sense to tear it out of the ground and replace it with fiber? Not really. Some will suggest that fiber to the home is better because it's not shared the way a cable network is shared. But Verizon Fios, which is a great service, is a passive optical network, which actually means their fiber network is shared, similar to the ways in which traditional coaxial cable networks are shared. The entire internet is shared. It's again a question of distance. Once the connection from your home to a node or to a head end or to a central office arrives there, it ultimately gets multiplexed along with everyone else's information when it's sent on the backbone. All of that relates to the question of whether wireless can be a substitute, because while wireless is inherently shared by users who have access to the same antenna, with small cells and Wi-Fi offload and the like, you can reduce the number of people who are sharing that access point in similar ways that are used in the hybrid fiber networks, where they push fiber closer to the home and reduce the number of homes that are sharing. The last mile speeds provided by some of today's LTE networks are very high and appear to be providing average speeds as high as the Netflix streams that are measured over the wired ISPs. 100 years ago, nobody could envision anything better than telephone service, which replaced telegraph service, which replaced the Pony Express, and now potentially wireless is replacing wireline, potentially. And some who say it will never happen. Wireless technologies have increased their throughput both through technology and cellularization and a number of other means many, many, many times over a couple of decades. There's no reason to expect that improvements will stop. So the question becomes, if there is no such thing as future-proofing, why mandate a particular technology? Is it appropriate for the government to decide for every consumer what kind of service they should have? It's not a very flexible approach, and I'm not sure it's what consumers are actually demanding. So far, we've relied on technologists, inventors, engineers, and entrepreneurs to keep the internet moving forward. And it's constantly being changed to respond to new developments and respond to problems. I mean, there have been times when apparently the internet was threatened to break, and they've come up with a way to fix it. The same could be true for wireless technologies, having a new breakthrough, or something potentially wired replacing fiber. We don't know. In the technology sphere, creative destruction is at its most powerful because it's driven both by business innovation, which occurs in all markets, but also technological innovation. And the government has not had a good track record in predicting or charting the future course of technological innovation.